Hi, my name is Lillian Martinez, and this is my testimony about how God honored my faith. I was in the military for 3 years, active duty. I was in the Air Force, actually, and when I got out, it was really hard for me to find jobs. And as a young person in the world, you want to have a career, you want to have something solid. And with that being said, I was already in the ministry. I was already involved in TTOR. Coming back out of the military was a really hard transition for me, but using my benefits, I went straight to school, and I just constantly looked for work. Even internships, unpaid internships I was applying for just to get something under my belt or some kind of experience in order to move forward. And I just felt like I kept hitting brick walls. So, I would come through to the Monday service, which is the financial service, of course, for financial stability. I would try to make it to basically any service in the evening time, aside from Saturdays and Mondays, that would allow me to, move forward, because I had school at night. So mind you, I'm still in school and I'm trying to find work. So I'm trying to find the right time to actually go to service. And there was one specific job that I had my eye on because it was very similar to what I've done in the military, and it was something that I felt like it was a calling to me. It was human resources. I love to help people, so it was just in me. So I'm looking at human resources and I'm looking at these specific government jobs, and I saw one that sparked my interest, and I've been applying for that job. And they even told me that I was overqualified. They denied me, telling me I was overqualified for the position, and every time that it would pop up or that I would see something similar to it, I'd go ahead and apply. I'd get denied. I wouldn't even make it to the interview process. Like, my application wouldn't even make it through to even being reviewed, and it would get knocked down. But when you have a relationship with God and you know who you are, you stand firm and you know and you trust Him that He's going to make a way for you where there seems to be no way. And when your heart is set on something and He's planted a seed, that's it. So I'm trusting God. I'm continuing to go to the Monday night service. I'm participating in links of prayer. I'm sowing seeds, tithing on top of sowing seeds. Like, I am believing, like, I'm trusting God. And through this all, He is keeping a roof over my head. He's keeping food in my mouth. He's keeping my phone bill paid by His grace. I made it for 3 years. I actually received an email back saying that my application went through and it's being reviewed. So I'm excited, I'm ecstatic, I'm praising God. I'm like, you know what, Lord? Praise and worship really does break walls and yokes. I'm excited. And I got a phone call, and it was the employers at the location that I was interested in. And so, before I pick up, I'm like, Lord, be my mouthpiece. And I pick up the phone and I'm starting this conversation, and they're like, we'd like to call you for a telephone interview. When will you be available? I give them availability date, and I put it on my calendar. I'm ready. I'm like, I call Pastor Rosalie. I'm ecstatic. I'm like, Pastor, it's mine. Like, I'm happy. It's working. God is real. Like, it's happening. What you're praying for is coming to fruition. And when you see that happen, it's almost like you're not surprised because you knew God did it and you knew it was yours, but you're just like, it's happening at the same time. So it was really exciting. And so with that being said, so I established the interview date. So I'm praying. And then finally they call me. And like, I call them and I say again, Lord, be my mouthpiece. I make a small prayer. And then I started the telephone interview, and it was like, the words weren't even my own, and it was every single question they asked me I had experience in. And I even shocked myself of how experienced I was and knowledgeable of all the things that they were asking me for. So, at the end he says, you're really selling yourself in this interview. And I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like, Lord, you're coming through. It's happening. And so the telephone interview ends, and I'm feeling confident. I'm excited. And I call Pastor Rosalie and I tell her about it. And we're excited. We prayed at the end of the conversation, and it's mine. That's it. So they call back 3 days later. 3 days later, they call back to start the background check because I've been chosen for the position. So I'm excited, I'm moving forward, and they're saying they're gonna do a background check, which usually takes 3 months. So they do the background check, they send the forms, I send those back, and along with the stuff that they sent some fingerprint cards. So I had to go down to the police station and do fingerprinting. So I'm standing next to these young ladies, and they're like, okay, you here for fingerprints too? I'm like, yes. So they take the two young ladies, and then eventually I go into the office for the fingerprinting, and the lady, she takes my cards, and she leaves, and she comes back, and she's like, okay, do you have your money order? And I look at her like, what? I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that there was a money order required. She's like, yeah, they're like $35 per card. And I'm like, what? I have the money on my card. And she's like, no, we need a money order. And right then and there, it was a point to be discouraged, but I prayed. And I'm like, Lord, like, once again, you wouldn't bring me this far like this to put me to shame. So I'm praying, I'm like, Lord, favor me in this. Favor me. I know you're going to come through. I know you're going to come through. The lady leaves the office and she comes back, and I start while she's gone, I'm filling out the forms, in faith that, this is going to go through. I'm not turning around, to go all the way back home. This is it. So I'm filling out the forms like they should be. And she comes back in, and I hand them to her, and she goes, don't worry about it. She walked through, we do the fingerprint. She gives me the card. She says, have a great day. The post office is next door to the police station. I go next door, I drop off the cards in the mailbox, and that was that. I thanked God when I got in the car, because every step of the way you favored me and you honored my faith to the maximum capacity when you didn't have to. So I drop off my cards, and I'm just so grateful. And they receive it, regular snail mail. They receive it in about 7 days, and they call me to say they received it. And they consolidated the background check to 1 month. So it went from 3 to 1 month. They call me back, and everything's clear. You're good to go. When can you start? They set a start date, and I started working there. And when I got there, I had my oil. I anointed the 4 corners, and anointed my mind. I anointed my mouth, my hands, my feet. I went and prayed up. I go into this place, and, I wound up absorbing all of the information, all the tasks, and all the things that they wanted me to do. It clicked, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm on it, and I'm doing it, and they're so impressed with me. So I am performing the job to the maximum potential. God has given me the ability to perform every task that they give me with finesse, and they're very satisfied with me. And there was an opportunity for promotion. So I applied for the promotion, despite that I wasn't there as long as I needed to be. Unfortunately, I wasn't chosen for the position because I had to be there for an entire year. But what God did for me was He gave me my own office. So, I'm just grateful that God has chosen me and set me apart to be a pinnacle at the location that I work for Him, and to just be an ambassador for Christ wherever I go, because I'm speaking to members that I work with about my ministry and what I do, about dance ministry, about the youth ministry, about what our ministry in general is doing, how we're all over the country. And, it's just been an amazing opportunity for God to honor my faith and to just have me establish something that I can use, for a really long time, because this is a career position. This is a job that most people grow old in. So for everyone who are in the situation where you're looking for a job, or you're trusting, or you're trying to believe in God for a situation, I just say this to encourage you, keep going. It's so much more worth it in the end, because the journey there is going to teach you so much more than what you collect at the end, that what God has in store for you.